Is July 21st, 2023. Okay, today I go to work in Hartville. I go to walk in, the lady's talking to my client's neighbors. She said I looked her up. She is an informant. It's disgusting. She's out cleaning houses to make a living. She is due that money no matter what. We found a tape of one of those agents acknowledging he knew what they were doing before this, and he didn't arrest them on the first day. Some girls run around saying that they had a right to be in her home, and of course not. Nobody had a right in her home before. And that agent didn't arrest them on the first day for what they were doing. Okay, going back to the recorded line. When I was talking to that agent, I told him somebody told on me the night before. He called me a liar. It was verified by officers. It was him. That up at that church. Okay? Told him about the guy that threatened to knife me. Was there a camera above the bench? I don't know. You either say you're lying or arrest you. Now, was there a camera above the bench? I said he tried to kidnap me before. He's like, was there a camera above that bench or not? I don't know. Then say you're lying or arrest you. It's like, fine, whatever. And I told I told him, I said, somebody was up at that church telling on me. He's like, you liar. It was verified by officers. He knew. It was him. See where they kept me drugged up for 3 days after I called the hotline so they could get to him. Then why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, they're going to kill me. So please don't let them kill me. Begged for my life. Give me a real reason why the FBI would help you. I said, well, my brother-in-law worked at the Pentagon under Dick Cheney. He was a private consultant for the FBI. Okay. Well, I'm going to list you an informant. I'm opening an account with $5,000 a month. You'll have it from now on for working this case. And you'll have a life of peace as an informant. I'll make sure no man ever touches you. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again for working this case. Even when you tell, we'll always put it back as if it never happened, and only for you would we ever do this for. You can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. You'll have that money to live on from now on. And then he did a flip-flop. Okay? Some guy in the background said something weird. And he said something about the shower scene. And the guy started giggling and said, stop, she doesn't know. Because it was photoshopped. They listened to it. They acknowledged they knew they were taping me unaware that they had gotten to him before I got there. That's where that lady today, I looked her up. She is an informant. And of course she's due that money. And it's disgusting. She has to go out and clean houses for a living when she's owed that money. And they found a tape of that agent acknowledging he knew what they were doing before she called him back. And he didn't arrest him on the first day. And some girls run around saying they had a right to be in her home. And of course not. Nobody had a right to be in her home before. So Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own home. Your papers, your effects, your against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. Your home can't be violated. Ever. No searches, no seizures without probable cause, warranted, court order, warranted with an oath or affirmation. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. It's entrapment. It's 2 to 20 years. That's where Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, I tried to tell him about a shower scene in another room, me having bruises, throwing up, dizzy, heart racing, seen by the doctor. I said they're supposed to have drugged me and told me to say something. He's like, don't you worry about a little thing. Even the FBI would go to jail for looking or listening to it. And they couldn't even be in your home outside to protect a life case with statements, and that agent had agreed to protect you and have statements with it. or they'd go to jail for being in your home. Some guy yelled out, "It is what's going on. They're embezzling from the funds." Well, that's what they said December 2nd, 22 at Wendy's and Alliance. So one of the guys that watched me, is that the one that church tried to have killed? He said, yes. He said, I heard she didn't get any money on this. He said, no, it's that one guy from the case stealing every dime for himself. He's embezzling from the feds. He's also letting them human traffic people and kill people around me. He needs to go to jail. That's where June 7th, 2023, Lighthouse Tabernacle. Now, they tape an audio in every Walmart. And on 62, at 11 o'clock in the morning, June 7th, 2023, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, I go to use the bathroom because I'm getting my hair done. I was there for hours. They come outside the bathroom. They yell out, FBI agent John fell for the stunt of the tapes before? Oh, come on now. It was only a stunt. That FBI agent actually fell for stunts of tapes before? You're kidding. It was only a stunt. They were getting even with me because Dave called Katie fat and ugly in another store, and if they weren't freaks hiding in the purses, they would have never known. Because we were in Macy's and she was in Ashcroft and Oak, and that was a setup for them to all get me. Because if we're walking in, I'm like, Dave, are you cheating with that girl? He said, Karen, she's pathetic. She's just making it up. And he said, I'd rather kiss a cow's butt than that fat, ugly heifer. Well, I turn around and I laugh. He said, the entrance of Macy's. Now, he said it first time at the person at the entrance of Macy's. Any other time he said it, we were in a different store. Could she hear us in Ashcroft and Oak? No. So the freaks had to be hiding in the purses. She laughed. We all know. God, get her. Because it's an occult. Exactly. They're in it with the Mexican drug cartel. Retired Judge Pete. All those Latino people saying that they work with retired Judge Pete. Just like February 2nd, Burlington Coat Factory, a young Latino guy in front of my one client said, with his girlfriend, she's like, I see her out today. It's not funny what's going on. He said, I know, I wish I wouldn't have drugged her first and told her to say it. I regret it. People went running, screaming. They sold the login to even my phone, and my phone records if I want it or not. Out on 6th Street in Camp, people were running out of their houses, yelling at the postman. Postman's like, we all heard him admit it. Just like they heard him admit that March 2nd to the 3rd, 21, they were going to put 2 clips together, put me in a porn. It's not her, it's them. Don't worry about her. And then it's like what you're describing, showering. Ha ha ha. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22, Bubba's Restaurant, 4 to 6 months screaming at them for finding a tape of them admitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22, KFC at noon. The shower scene was done on purpose, just like Ed at the Oakland apartment. Everything was drugged and photoshopped before. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. Just like the same day, December 9th, 21, white man bald with dark eyes actually worked the case, distributing food at Starr County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street. Can't find them. They always knew the tapes before were them and not me. They're drugged and photoshopped. My client in Navarre, her next door neighbor, in March of 22, they said retired Judge Pete ordered everything to be drugged and photoshopped and made up on me. He's in it with the Mexican drug cartel. That's where the main kidnapper is a tall white man with Latino descent. He's human trafficking people, just like the judge in Florida, running a big scam. And that agent's embezzling from the feds. It's exactly what's going on. And they did know that they knew I called the FBI. Like that lady said, that agent should have arrested him the first day. No one's allowed in your home. It's a 4th Amendment constitutional rights. It's entrapment. It's 2 to 20 years. That's where I went to the Portage County Sheriff's. Miss Hall, what these people did is illegal. I said, you couldn't look or listen. It's the 4th Amendment. Yes. I was in with my client in Maslin Stat Care, I think in November of 21. He comes, a Maslin officer in uniform comes in. I'm here to watch her. There's a Steve and Eric stalking her. And we don't know who they are yet. And it's finally got funny. After everything they did, nothing's invisible. It's not. You can't stalk somebody in their home drug, beat, rape them, drug them up, and say stuff. Some of my clients' neighbors up in Akron, we found they drugged her up before. No one could ever say a word. They've been saying that for a long time. They even said it at Trinity Gospel. We always knew they were drugging her up before. That's why nobody would ever say a word to her. They also know about the shower scene in the other room. And then they admitted for me March 24th, 22 on 1:30, screaming outside my apartment. My car is so bugged, it'll pick up 3 apartments away. FBI informant. See, that agent opened a real case with statements at a cop talk today. The next day, even though April 15, 1623, he confessed to Danny he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. He can't hire a stalker. Like they said, that idiot can't hire a stalker. And how Pete has me framed. And, oh, he's seen that agent up at that church asking threats on my life, and he talked to him personally. That's where November 6, 22, Trinity Gospel. Karen's okay anymore. We found the protected custody case. I thought, where you been? The cops have been working around me. Huh? And, they said, we told those people that said she was faking she was sick and faking she got well to cut it out. None of this is funny. There's proof she was sick before. And the guy said, well, you know, the agent that called her back, it was verified by officers that he told on her before she called him back. Oh, my Lord. They pull the tape of me talking to that agent. They'll have him badger me, bully me. Opening a real case with statements and money. And somebody in the background acknowledging they knew that they already knew before I called them back. And what they were doing to me. And they didn't arrest him on the first day. That's where June 7th, 23, Lighthouse Tabernacle mocks FBI Agent John. FBI Agent John actually fell for the stunt of the tapes before? Oh, come on now. That agent actually fell for it? It was only a stunt. You mean John actually fell for it? That FBI agent fell for stunts of tapes before. You're kidding. It was only a stunt. Is that what's going on? FBI Agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before? Ha 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 ha. Is that why they got away with it? Because FBI Agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before? Ha 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 ha. June 7th, 23, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning by the front lady's bathroom. One of the guys that watched me was so mad. As Katie's sister Jody went to walk out, and her groupies from Lighthouse screamed out, found out Jody paid for the harassment today. They all scattered. November 18, 22, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m. by the hair salon. Eric comes in and confesses. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to say it, my idea to do it. For all these people turned on and they fell for it. Ah! Well, if it's only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad and they still fell for it. Ah! November 24th, 22. Mercy Medical, the nurse taking care of me to the Lady Canton officer. We all heard that Eric make fun of us for falling for a stunt of tapes before. No one should say a word to her again. Lady Canton officer replies back to her. Well, you know, the agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. There's badgering laws. They have to take your statement if they believe you or not and follow through. He was to arrest them for stalking me. That's where, when we went up to that church the night before I called that agent back, Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off. How dare you bring the FBI up here with the threats on her life? Ladies walked up to me. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped, and he said he didn't care. I had bruises all over me. My personal area is swollen and infected. And I've been throwing up at it, and my heart sinking in my stomach. Is that what's going on? And I go in and I sit down. They followed me. He said, he told people that if she was going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well while that family was grieving, he didn't care what they did. He fell for strangest lies and didn't look up what I had went into remission all the time. It was a medication error. He fell for them hook, line, and sinker, and then he embezzled all the money for himself. Like some guy yelled out today, it is what's going on there, Vaseline. Exactly. Everybody tournament. March 1st to 3rd of 23 should be those days. I'm in Walmart 62 in the nail polish aisle. Some lady walks by. I found out they're using the case to human traffic people. I'm not interested in that. I look up and it says recording. People are dying. That lady even said that outside my clients in Hurtville. We found out other people died because of this. This whole thing is disgusting. It is. I'm gonna upload this.